All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Adrenaline and Instinct. Today, we have the co-founder of Pacific Calls, waterfowl guide and hunter. He took a college project and turned it into a respected brand in the hunting industry. We have Trevor Austin.
Hey, how we doing? Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You are, so I'm trying to remember how our paths crossed in the beginning, which I think your wife was working with mine.
Yeah. You never know how you get together, right?
No, man. And it was always funny, dude, because I remember, like, and admittedly, I'm not the biggest waterfowl guy, and that's kind of why I wanted to have you on, because I have so many buddies that are. And honestly, I just want to learn more about it, because I grew up kind of in an area that it was really big and just never learned. I was either riding dirt bikes or doing other things, but kind of have the opportunity now to dig a little deeper.
Hey, you never know who you run into in this world, and sometimes new doors open up. So hopefully that can get you out this year in the little field.
Dude.
And really show you the ball game.
Oh, man. You are, yes. I'm in. Absolutely, I'm in.
That was easy.
Dude, so the funny thing was, so I remember we went to, so we're sitting here at your new HQ.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Because the last one was where? Spokane Valley?
Yeah, right up Argonne.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with the area, it's like the Coca-Cola plant. Bunch of like metal scrappers are in the area, and so we really upgraded coming over here. You could put a fridge outside, and it'd be gone in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So to say it was sketchy, it was yes.
It was one where you would like kind of, I just remember like opening the doors and not knowing what I was getting myself into, and then it like turns into this awesome kind of manufacturing situation, and I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as you step back outside, you're like, car locked.
That shit right up. I had a trailer broken into. We've had, like, if we wanted to recycle something and not go to the recycling center, we would just put it outside. In, I swear, minutes, it would be gone. Minutes. There was always, like, old-ass dudes driving around shitty little Tacomas, and whatever car they could put a pallet on, and they were just collecting pallets and driving around. You never knew what you were going to see that day.
Dude, incredible. I still use, that first time I came to visit, you gave me a turkey call.
Yeah.
Managed to call my first turkey in with
Did
it.
You?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
In the backyard. So like I'm not saying I was like all set up.
You called it in. You didn't have to finish the story.
Okay. But it was, so I think like that's kind of the cool thing. And again, I'm like sitting there just like whacking away at this thing, not knowing what the hell I'm saying.
Scratch.
Do you think like is calling these birds, and I mean honestly I think any animal, like is it the what you're saying or is it the when you're saying it?
I think it's the when you're saying it. Yeah, I mean, there's always the what you're saying, too. Like, you could be producing some, like, loud, really aggressive note, and they're not into it. But you got to know when to say that loud and aggressive note. Okay. You got to be familiar. You got to be able to read them. It's like elk hunting. It's like any of that. Like, I don't elk hunt. No, I shot one deer in my life, and I don't know a damn thing besides just the guys I get to talk to. But I've always heard that elk hunting and turkey hunting have their similarities when it comes to the approach, the calling. Now, granted, one's a lot louder and bigger than the other one, but it's just kind of like the same vibe, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you really just, I mean, it's like any animal you're going to go chase. You got to know when and how.
Well, I think from my one solid year turkey hunting where I was kind of like, I'm setting out and I'm going to do this, like the amount of birds that just gave me the slip and just made me feel like a total fool. It was like sobering, to say the least. I mean, you expect it with big game, but I think a lot of people think that whacking a turkey is an easy thing.
You just got to drive around and hit one with your car at some point. No, I mean, especially in like this area, like I would say this region is one of the top producing turkey populations out of the whole country. And we have thousands and thousands of acres of public land. There's tons of places to go do it, but no matter what, like you wear blue jeans, they're going to come to you. You wear camo, man, they're slipping. They're going left, you're going right.
I feel like that's always like the name of it. I've heard so many stories of dudes setting out the blinds, like doing everything to the whole nines, and then the dude that slams his car door, gets a shot gobble in the distance, and then all of a sudden is like things coming in and right there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I think it's funny because you talk to like the farmers and early season when the birds are in the field when they're harvesting, and they're just kind of jumping behind the combine after it's cut in that one row, and they're like, "Why do you guys set up all your decoys and you just come out here and shoot them?" It's like, well, it's not really the same. Just because you put that in ghost mode and you jump out and shoot them with your 30-06, it doesn't mean that's how I want to do it.
Yeah.
And they don't respond the same way.
I would almost equate that to like people that are whacking deer in their backyard. Mm-hmm. Like when you have this, and like arguably, I love backyard deer hunting. Sure. It's fun. Yeah. It's super great to just go do if you have the land and everything to do it. But it's hits much differently when you do set up and you really like approach that bird or approach that animal with the full intent of like hunting it in its element.
Totally.
Because it's different, man. They behave so different when they're away from that.
Well, when they're like around residents, 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, whatever, but like they're used to people walking around, they're used to cars driving by, they're kind of used to that whole program that they start living in. And then, but once you like, I don't know, for turkey for me, once I get to the mountains, it's like, oh, you guys aren't used to any of this. So like, I really got to be quiet, or I really got to like not move for a long time, because you don't know what their day-to-day schedule is. Yeah. They'll probably hit a roost. They'll probably hit an area to strut around. But it could change every day. But these birds that you're chasing in the backyard-wise, call it backyard, they probably pitch down the same way. They probably sit and strut in one area. They probably sit and feed or walk and feed and down the same path that's down your driveway into your feeding hole. Yeah.
And I would say there's probably a good amount of like these birds, as smart as they are, because they are smart.
Yeah, they got to survive.
They know you are there. Mm-hmm. Like when you are hunting in a place where you live or you're close to, or like these farmers, where it's these birds see these farmers daily. It might be the one day they decide to whack it, right, which is a little bit different than that one day you meet them on their turf. Mm-hmm. But it's, I mean, I even look at it like, on the elk side, which is kind of what I look at a lot of this calling nature. But man, nothing feels better than just getting one on a string and it doing everything you want it to.
It's, you are changing a real life animal its path. You are convincing that thing to come in closer to you. You're speaking their language. And I think that's that's one of the reasons I got into call making, is because I wanted to produce something that was right for me, but I also wanted to produce something that I could change their flight, or I could change their feeding habits and pull them closer to me. And I think, like, I go out and hunt. I've been guiding for 14 years almost. And I love pulling the trigger, don't get me wrong, but I could care less at the end of the day. As long as I'm sitting there calling at the birds and pulling them into the spot, then like, that's all I care about.
Do you think so? Even when I relate it to like dirt bikes, all of the other hobbies that I have, like for the stuff that I've been doing for a really, really long time, there's this like really deep sense of satisfaction when I can help somebody else progress. Yeah. Is that kind of the draw to the guiding side of it?
Totally. I mean, when I got into it, it's because I needed money, right? I, didn't have a job, was still in college, trying to buy beer, like had $0. So like, this was a great way for me to go make money. But over time, I started really building the relationship and I guess just having that relationship with myself, of knowing that like I got you on a bird, or I called in this flock for these people that have never seen back winging geese or ducks. And like to me, like I still get the shake, the hair still stand up on the backside of my neck. And to know that this person can't stop moving because they're so itching, ready to pull that trigger, like that's what drives me.
Is that like what you say would like got you into waterfowl and just birds in general?
My dad got me into it. My dad was a guide way back in the 80s. And then once the 90s hit, that area that he was guiding in turned into a club. And so I learned it from my dad mostly because he was already used to taking people out. And then I grew up watching him. I mean, I was in the pit with him when I was 4. So like I understand, like my dad was the man. My dad would put the decoys, he would scout, he would put the decoys out, he would run the hunt, and he would make sure everyone was having a good time. That's where I learned the love of like putting that together for other people that haven't been able to experience that kind of stuff. Because I was very fortunate as a young kid and up to now that I've been able to see some really cool shit. And I want other people to go see the same thing. And I want you to do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, and I think, if I remember back to when I first met you, you had kind of explained like the difference of hunting like that, where it's like there's action often, especially in like the geese and stuff like that, where geese, duck, where it's like you could have multiple sets throughout the day where you guys are continually getting birds, and it becomes a much more like social, fun style of hunting than like putting 20 miles on your boots and not seeing a thing. Yeah. So like run me through just like kind of to the average folk or to like myself who hasn't gotten to do it yet, like what do you expect going into a hunt like that?
Well, it kind of depends. Like, are you there scouting and kind of building that whole hunt in your head? Like, are you the one that's going to go out? I mean, if you hopped in my front seat and we're like, hey, we're going to go find the field, we're going to go shoot tomorrow, we would drive miles, just like what you do for elk hunting. You're going to go scout now. Whenever you start going, you're going to start scouting, and I think that's where people start really appreciating like what's happening when it comes to the hunt, because it's the buildup, right? So you find the birds, you got permission, whatever it is. And then the next day, you're waking up and you're all antsy. And so, you hook up to the trailer, the boat, whatever it may be. And for me, as the person that's usually running the hunt, I hold your hand and said, hey, this is what the blinds are going to be doing. This is where they're going to go. The wind is going this way, so this is why we're putting the decoys over here. The sun's going to come up from this side, so we need to make sure that it's at our back, all sorts of things. So, there's a lot of things that have to come to it, but like that would be your normal morning getting into it.
So once you get into the blind, gun in hand, like what then?
Then it's like you kind of just chill with your buddies, right? Like anticipation's high. You're sitting there waiting for that first honk or that, the whistling wings of the duck or the gobble from the turkey in the tree, whatever it is. But I mean, duck and goose hunting is more of the group mentality rather than the big game or turkey. And so you can be loud. You can joke with your buddies. You can push them over. They're not going to smell you. So I feel like it's a little bit more relaxing when it comes to just like before the bird actually shows up.
Sure.
And so I think you just get a lot of that build up with your friends, the people you're taking out. You get to know each other. You get to have conversations. And then all of a sudden you hear a honk, luck, luck, luck. And then that's when you're like, oh shit. And you jump in the blind. And then sometimes they caught you and then they keep flying away.
Dude, I think there's just something about hearing animals. Like the sounds they emit just, I think like, I don't know if it's primal or what, but it sends shivers.
Oh, sure.
When you're trying to hunt them. It's just like, it's just this natural response.
And I'm the one that sits on, like, I'm always on the left or right hand. I'm always out on one of the edges of the blinds. And so I kind of get quiet a little bit because when I know it's about ready to happen, I don't want to miss the first opportunity because that first opportunity could screw you if you don't get them. They could land in the field next to you. They could just keep flying by. They could go back and tell their friends, yo, dudes, there's some dudes down here. They want to shoot you, so don't go that way. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to be, like at first I'm like, happy-go-lucky, like we're having a good time. Shit's serious, but it's a good time. But once it starts like the clock is ticking, then I kind of get quiet. I kind of sit by myself over with my dog. I'll talk a little bit. Everyone's all jabbering and shit, but I'm like, I gotta hear. I gotta pay attention to like what the next move is gonna be because it's my call, right? Like, and I don't want to fuck that up for the next person.
Sure. I mean, that's just the responsibility of being that guy.
Yeah.
And me being the idiot that doesn't know what's what. That's just looking for your lead.
For sure.
Can you successfully hunt this style without a dog, or is it pretty critical you have one?
No, I mean, just having a dog, because I do a lot of field hunting, so I don't really need to have a dog, and I've hunted for years without a dog. I grew up with dogs, but when I was in college and then kind of my first years out of college and guiding, I had a good dog, and then he got old, and so wasn't running him anymore. But you can definitely hunt without a dog. The water one is the hardest part, unless you want to get back in your boat, paddle out there, go get your duck, come back, and then repeat. So but the love of watching that dog work, I think, is what drives a lot of people to hunt with dogs.
Sure.
Yeah, it's nice. I can just let him out of the kennel, make him sit. He'll see the bird. I'll send him back. If he doesn't see it, we can make him work. Make him sit out there, go left or right, and then he'll find it or smell it, and then it's game on. And so I think it's just watching that dog work. Sure. Is the coolest part about having a dog hunting with you.
Yeah, especially. I mean, I know at least the dogs that I've seen of yours are definitely like well trained for that specifically. Mm-hmm. Like growing up, we had this lab that, he's fucking amazing. One of the best dogs I think I've seen, but not at hunting, just being a dog. Yeah. Just great dude. But we just kind of got the itch. We're like, let's try pheasant hunting. Mm-hmm. And we brought him. We didn't know how he would do. Right. Natural, like all labs are with doing things like that, getting birdie, getting the scent down.
That tail going right as fast as possible.
Yep. And then the best part, though, is like what he didn't know is like, okay, that's where he stops after he gets the bird up. for us to shoot. It's like that dog caught the bird and just like tore it to shreds. And you're like,
he's like, I did it.
all right, what now, guys? Like, this ain't that hard.
You shoot this thing in my mouth or what? That seems sketchy.
And dude, it was just like, it was hilarious watching him because, again, like when a dog's a pro, it is such a cool thing to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But watching him even work, even though he was not a pro, I mean, by no means he was, a weekend warrior at best.
For sure.
But it was a super rewarding feeling.
Man, when they're in the mode, it's like watching you when you're in the mode of whatever you're doing. It's like, damn, he's in it.
Yeah.
Like he's in it. It's grind mode right now.
Just loves it. I think we hunted with him until like we'd go out pretty much a novelty hunt at this point. He was so old. Like you go do a couple laps on this pheasant. Like back there we're in Wisconsin. It's not like we have a lot of public land. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more kind of a pheasant club. Sure. So like they would call club members after somebody paid for a hunt and didn't get birds.
Oh, okay.
So you could come and hunt and then kind of find what birds were out there already.
Yeah, what was left.
Yeah. And but like it was like, you go do a lap with him, could hardly walk, couldn't even jump in the truck, but loved it so much.
The drive, man. The drive these dogs have, I think, is what drives a lot of people to keep going hunting. And you hear it from a lot of duck hunters too. Like, I lost my dog. That was my partner. Besides, my buddies and stuff, but that was my partner, and I haven't hunted since he died. Like that story comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Which is, it's super sad to think about because it's something that you enjoyed so much with that pet that only lasts 10 to 12 years, which sucks.
And 10 of them are good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I mean, even if like in layman's terms, it's like you go that hike or that morning walk with that pup every day. It's like, I don't want to go walk it without him.
Right, man. It's, you start thinking of all the good times and it gets a little depressing and sad. You're like, fuck, I need to get a new one or I need to get something else.
Yeah. That was like, my dad was the one that always had like a bird dog. And arguably he's he's a lot more into the pheasant stuff. I just don't have the ability to do it out here as much. Mm-hmm. But he would always, like, as soon as that would happen, it's like he had to have another dog. Otherwise, he was, like, just going to go stir crazy. Right. And, like, needed to have that to train it, to just love it. And, like, it was almost like he needed that to be happy, which I totally understand, having two of them.
Oh, yeah. You got to have that. And I grew up with 3 dogs. There was the one that was the old dog that stayed home with mom or would always ride around but wasn't actually the hunting one anymore. Maybe the once in a while duck hunt or goose hunt he would go on. And then you had the one that was, like, prime time. And then you had the puppy. And it was just a lot. It was chaos in my house. But those were my brothers, is what I always called them. So like I was always used to that. Now, we have Haley's got her dog, and then I've got Nash, my dog, who is just a machine. But now he's 5, and so I got to start thinking about getting number 2 here soon because once 7, 8 starts hitting, then it kind of just goes downhill, unfortunately.
Yeah. So off the dog, you can include a dog if this matters, but I want to hear. We're going to do kind of 2 questions, with one being, like, I want to hear, like, the best day you've had in the field. And I want to hear it in detail of, like, just because I'm sure you remember it in detail.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a follow-up with, like, dude, what was a day that just shit went so haywire that, like, that also has burned a hole in your memory?
Oh, there's probably a lot more of those. I think, like, the one day that will always pop out to me, and it wasn't like the craziest hunt by any means, but I think I was 11 or 12, I can't remember. But my dad, he had like 4 or 5 of his buddies there hunting with us, and it was foggy. It was kind of just shitty day, and there wasn't much flying around. And he's like, I'm going to go scout. I'm out of here. You handle the hunt. And I was like, whoa, I get to handle the hunt. Like, I'm taking dad's role. Like, I'm 12 years old. I'm like, fuck yeah. And so I grabbed my goose call and put that around my neck, and then all of a sudden I hear luck, and I just start calling my ass off. Like probably way too much. Probably didn't even sound good. Then all of a sudden these geese just come out of the fog. I mean, just fucking appeared out of nowhere, and they just came all the way. And I was about ready to tell the dude, one of the dudes there, I was about ready to say, like, get ready. Well, that fucker stood up and shot way before he should have and scared these geese off. But I got so mad at him, but then I sat back and I just like took a deep breath as a 12-year-old, and I was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. My dad wasn't here to like help or to be a part of that. I was able to pick up my calls, grab them, and run them like my dad taught me, and convince these birds that were lost as shit in the fog to come down into our spread. And of course, this old dipshit stands up and shoots. And I was like, why did you shoot? It wasn't ready yet. And he missed, of course. And all his other buddies didn't even shoot either. And he just kind of sat down and got quiet. Didn't say a word. But then I had all his other buddies just like hooting and hollering for me. Like, that's the coolest shit. We've never seen that. And so like that instantly became one of like the top hunts in my life, to know that like what my dad taught me, everything that I learned from him, all the hunts that we've been on in movies and VHS that we watched, like that is what always will stand out to me, is like this was my first time on my own in producing what my dad's always been able to produce for me. And I'm able to do that now as a 12-year-old.
Dude, it's amazing, because I think like in that, you know, with you spending so much time with your dad in the field learning, and the amount that you like retained as a 12-year-old to all of a sudden take that kind of guide role on a spur of the moment day and then execute. Yeah. Like that is like I would imagine every 12-year-old's dream. Honestly, probably every man's dream to like have that memory as a kid.
Yeah. It could be any animal, but you're actually able to do that and produce. I didn't think I was able to do that, but we sure as shit did it.
Dude.
I'll never forget it, just because it was, like I said, it was just one of those, it was the first time that I was able to do that. My dad left me the controller and was like, it's up to you, dude. And I was able to do it. But of course, I had one guy ruin it for me.
Yeah, fucking old bastard.
Yeah, that's okay, man.
So when you went home, though, like, what was the conversation like with your pops?
Oh, just, look what I did, blah, 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 and just kept chatting and chirping. And he was so happy for me. But then that other guy that did stand up and shoot, and he's like, that doesn't surprise me at all. He's selfish. But he was super, he was pumped for me. Like high fives all the way home. I grew up in Seattle. We hunted in Eastern Washington. So it was a 4-hour drive every Thursday night and every 4-hour drive every Sunday night for my entire life until I graduated high school. And so that trip, I got to sit in the front seat on the way home. Mom sat in the back. And I just chatted with Dad about that, the one flock that came in and did it for 4 hours.
Probably the fastest drive home.
Oh, didn't even remember it. But that will always replay back in my head on knowing like what I was able to do and just how pumped I was, I guess, that like what my dad taught me stuck.
Isn't it incredible? Like that's not even the like, we killed the most birds, or it's like the what it meant is so, which I think is why hunting as a whole is so powerful, because there's so much like raw emotion tied to it. Even you get something or you don't, there's like, okay, you lost. When you get something, it's still one of the heaviest feelings because you took someone's life, and you're dealing with that. Is like, and it's like this swirl of emotions of like kind of the remorse and sadness with some of the highest of highs you can feel. Also, it is such an emotional dump,
for sure,
in the best way possible.
Oh yeah, and it's just is a huge. I mean, that's the best way to look at it. It's a huge emotional dump that will sit with you forever. Yeah, should you hope? Yeah, hope it does, because you always want to remember that. Yeah, the ups and downs doesn't matter. Yeah, but like that will sit with you forever.
All right, on the flip side, now we get to hear the not so pretty side of.
Not so pretty. This probably wasn't like the worst, but it's one that will probably stick out. I grew up in Seattle. I don't like rain. I hate rain. Hate it.
What a place to grow up.
Yeah. I hate getting wet. I don't like hunting in water all that often. I'm a dry land goose hunter, and that's what my dad raised me to be. And I've got every decoy in the world you ever need for it. But when it comes to water and ducks, man, I might have like 6 duck decoys. My business partner's got the rest. But I love goose hunting so much. But so when we started filming a lot more, people really want to watch duck hunts. And they're like, Trevor, we're going to have to go get wet. And I was like, okay. So, we drove over to the west side. And we met up with some buddies where we were in like Skagit Valley. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, here comes the rain. And we're sitting in the trucks, and it's like 3 a.m. because you have to fucking wake up so early to get out there and beat everybody else. And we're like, okay, well, we just have to walk like a couple hundred yards that way. Well, it rained the day before, and it probably rained 10 weeks before that too. And we had to hike in, I think it was like 500 yards through a potato field that the mud would go up to your shins, and you would have to stomp through this with all your shit, your decoys, your blinds, your fucking gun, your blind bag, your snacks, everything. And we had to hike the whole way back, the whole way again, because we brought out like 1,500 decoys. And we sat up there, and we sat in the rain for 3.5 hours to get ready and set up decoys and just let our blinds were our own pools. And we had to sit in this shit. And it didn't matter what waterproof gear you had on. There was no such thing as waterproof gear with that much water.
No.
And we sat there for hours and didn't even see a goddamn bird. Not even a bird. And we had one guy with us that was just a super Debbie Downer. And I always like to, like earlier I was saying, like, oh, once it gets close, you know, I kind of be quiet and I kind of get serious. But when I'm on someone else's hunt, I'm just like, good time, Charlie. Like, I just like to have fun. And we were on someone else's hunt, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun anymore. And this guy was just super downer. And he came up and he was sitting next to me, and he just like talked about himself the whole time. Like,
that's the worst.
Like, ask me one question, like how my day is going, and I'll be totally good. But like, trying to not just talk about yourself the whole time.
Was he a stranger?
I didn't know him. I had no idea who he was. But he was a friend of a friend of a friend, and he was there, and I got to sit next to him. And so we sat there for a while, and then, like I said, no birds. And it was like noon. And I'm like, okay, like, are we calling this thing here soon? Like, let's go get beers or something. We'll come back later. I don't know what. Well, then, like, one duck flies over. And maybe this is what pisses me off, is people just don't wait for the right time to shoot. And there's always one. And when you hunt with me, no matter what, if I'm not the one that's calling the shot, someone's calling the shot. There's one person that calls the shot, and it's because of safety is what it comes down to. Because when you got freaking 10 shotguns out there, like, crazy things can happen. And so you have one person that runs a hunt, meaning they're going to call the shot. Well, this fucking jackass stands up and just shoots over my head and damn near blows out my right eardrum. And I fucking turn around, and I damn near just smoked the dude in the face. And I'm like, bro, what is your problem? He's like, well, you weren't going to shoot. And I was like, well, it wasn't the fucking time to shoot right now. And he's like, well, I just didn't want to wait any longer. I go, well, it's not your hunt. Like, you can't do this. So I guide mode came in, and I started ripping this guy a new one. And I kind of got like upset with myself because it wasn't my hunt. It's not my buddy. I don't know who this guy is. But I'm like, I'm a safety, freak as well. Like, don't shoot my head off. Yeah. Don't shoot anybody else's head off, and just be patient. And like, if it's your hunt, then you call the shot. But bro, it's not your hunt. And so like after that, I just sat there, and then it started raining even harder. And the guys that I wanted to hunt with, they just wanted to wait it out. And we just sat there. We didn't shoot another thing. We didn't shoot anything that day. But we just sat there and collected water.
Dude, all right, there's a couple parts of that I'd love to unpack, because I can imagine how many times where like you just end up getting like paired with some, like, not that you were paired with that guy, but you're sitting next to him. And it's like, when you get paired next to somebody that you just don't mesh with, like, it's the worst when somebody's just talking about themselves. Because how easy is it just to be like, hey, dude, like, you pretty good hunter?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I guide, And then it might be like, question time. I'd love to learn more.
Where are you from?
Hey, tell me when to shoot, dude. I don't want to fuck this up.
Right.
Like,
there's a lot.
There's so many different things that could have been handled differently. But when you're on, like, guide mode, and then you're on someone else's hunt, so I know, like, you're trying to kind of sit back. But do you ever just, like, you have to just silently judge?
Oh, for sure. Like, and when I get invited on a hunt, I love it. It means a lot to me, and it means I don't have to really worry about everything. It's not my field. I don't have to scout all the time. I don't have to be worried about where the decoys are going. And I'm a big team player. Like, when I'm guiding and I have a guide hand with me, like, and it's not working out that day, like, I'll pull that guide hand out with me, and we'll just go walk around the decoys. I'm like, what do you think? Because I want to know. Like, I want to know what the other person's seeing, what I'm not seeing, because there's a lot of that. But there's, like, times I'm sitting there, I'm just like, we are doing this so wrong right now. But I just, I swallow it, and I sit, and I just enjoy my time. But when there's a jackass next to you, and he just wants to control the hunt that's not his to control, or wants to shoot when it's not his time to shoot, yeah, it kind of ruins it.
Oh, then he's ruining it for everyone else.
For sure.
I mean, geez, I can imagine, like, at least for myself, like turkey hunting. It's like, oh, they're across the field and we want to take a shot, and it's like you just blow everything up for the day.
Yep, you're done.
Which is just why. Have you had any like first aid nightmares out there?
First aid nightmares?
Yeah,
bro. When I was 11, 13, whatever, around that time frame, we went dove hunting in Sunnyside over by Yakima, and there was a wheat field that burnt down. It was all my dad's buddies, and he put all of us out in this wheat field. And this wheat field could not have been more than like 80 acres, which is not that big of a field. And it was me, my dad's best friend, and his son. We were all next to this hay bale. Well, Grandpa was set way off to the side, and he was only supposed to shoot one way. Well, that old fucker turned around and shot towards us, and he smoked his grandson in the leg with 9-shot, and just blood everywhere. And I was sitting there like, holy shit, what is going on here? And so that was one. My first day dove guiding. I think dove hunt is almost like the most dangerous hunting you can do because birds flying everywhere, and you're not like, you've got to surround these fields because there's no like true, like there's a flight from the water, the roost to the feed, but like it could be spread out.
Sure.
And so you got to spread a bunch of people out. And I'm sitting there, and it's my first group to ever go take out dove hunting. And there's one dude that's probably 75, 80 years old. And like, this guy can't walk. Can we drive him out to the spot? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I drop everyone off, go drop off Bob, let's call him, drop off Bob. And I'm like, hey, I'll be back in 20 minutes. I'm going to park the truck, and I'll walk back here and check in on you, and then I'll go check on everybody else. And so I walk up to him. As I'm walking up to him, I run by a couple of guys who are like, that guy just hasn't shot. Like, maybe you can just like kind of help him out. So I'm like, yeah. So I walk up there. I'm like, how's it going, man? He's like, I just can't see these things. And I'm like, I know it's tough, but just look straight ahead, right at the decoys. We got these, what we call mojos, like little spinning wings that attracts the bird to come and try to land near it or on it. And it just replicates a bird landing. And so these doves are just like piss pounding this decoy. And I'm like, they're right there. And he just like, I can't do it. I was like, all right, well, just get your gun mounted to your shoulder. And when I say over the decoy, damn near point at that decoy and shoot, because it's going to be right there. Like, I don't care if you shoot the decoy, just shoot your goddamn doves. And he comes up and he shoots and he falls backwards. And his gun barrel is coming back to and I'm like right behind him. And his gun barrel is coming back to me. And I grab that barrel and I duck out of the way. And he's like, fuck, I almost shot your head off. And I was like, yeah, you did. So we talked about it. And he's like, I think I just need better foot position. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Okay, well, the birds are going to keep flying right here. I'm going to leave. Because for what I get paid to run a dove hunt, it's not enough to risk my life for you. So I left him, and I didn't care what he did for the rest of the day. Like, I felt bad.
Dude, could you imagine the nerve of them to be just like shoots, falls over? Like, I'm trying to think of like what it would equate to. Like broadhead shooting a bow. Like, I fall over and almost sever your needed better foot position.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god.
The last closest one I've had is actually there's been two more of them, but the one that really sticks out to me is we got like 10 dudes lined up in the blinds and snowing, and it's like beautiful goose hunting weather, and these birds are going to come up and over this big cliff, and they're just going to belly crawl all the way up to our spread. I'm like, this is going to be a badass hunt. Like, sit back, enjoy, and watch this shit. I'm out in the decoys, just moving things around like I usually do, because we'll go put decoys out in the dark, and the sun comes up. You're like, what the hell did I do? I got to move a bunch of shit. But anyway, so I'm moving some things, and everyone's sitting down, and I've already gone through the safety speech. We have a long safety speech of what to do with your gun, when to load it, and all that kind of stuff. And so I told them, like, hey, get ready. Don't load your guns yet. But once I get back in the blind, you can load your gun. But just make sure everything's ready, just in case a bird actually just come up a little bit early. And it was about ready that I remember that the flight was going to start. And I'm out in the decoys, and I just hear luck, and I can just see these geese coming up and over. I'm like, okay, get ready. And I turn around, and as soon as I plant my foot to turn around, the snow next to me just blows up. And this fucking dude had his finger, one, his gun was loaded, two, his finger was on the trigger and the safety was off. For some reason, all three of those happened while I told none of that should have ever been even close to it. But my foot was about a foot away from getting shot off. And I walk up there and I was so pissed. And I walk up there, I'm like, who the fuck just did this? And everyone went quiet. No one said a thing. And I'm like, someone needs to raise their hand or I'm calling this whole hunt right now. And the whole thing is like, I always say, you want to shoot without me calling the shot? You can do that. And then you can pack your shit, leave the tip in the blind and get to your truck. I'm not putting up with it. When I say shoot, that means you shoot. No one else, no other time. That's the only time you can shoot. And so I walk up there. I'm like, who did this? And no one says a thing. No one says a thing. I'm like, guys, like I will call this whole hunt. No one admits to this. And this guy sits up and he goes, it was me. And I go, what? Why? He goes, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I go, why is your gun loaded? He goes, I'm an instructor, a hunter ed instructor.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, and you loaded up your gun after the guy told you not to, and your finger was on the trigger when the guy told you not to even have your hand near your gun, and your safety was off. And he's like, I fucked up. And I was like, I'm sorry, but you have to get out of my blind. Like, I'm not putting up with that. And he's like, are you serious? And I go, I told you 20 minutes ago, this is how this is ran. If you don't want to do that, then you can leave, and that's okay. I will tell my boss that this is what's happening, and he will have my back. And so he started packing his shit up, and I go, I'm sorry, but I'm not dealing with it. And so he went back to the truck, and everyone was like, he is the most safest with our guns and hunting and everything. That should never have happened. And I was like, shit can happen to anybody, man.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter. We've taken special ops out, and they have shot the foot off of our blinds because their guns loaded and they have their safety off for some reason. And it's like, dude, just be smart.
I think like even some of these scenarios where it's like, to some listening, it could sound harsh, but at the end of the day, like as a guide, you are putting yourself in this situation time and time again with people you don't know.
Yeah. And they do it 1-2 times a year while I'm out there 5 days out of 7 days of the week doing this. And we have a lot of practice and a lot of know-hows, and these people don't. But that's,
we're talking firearms. Like this is at the end of the day, like, you would never think going out and resetting some decoys would be a life, like where your life's in danger.
Right.
But some idiot, hunter ed trained guy, like the funny part is, and it's like the double standard, because dang well if somebody did even a fraction of that in his hunter safety course, fail, it would be this massive thing,
whatever it is.
But it does go to show, like to your point, it can happen to anyone. Mm-hmm. And I think there's one of the guests I actually had a chat with yesterday. We'd kind of gotten into a little bit of like, granted, we're talking like some backcountry big skier, some kind of crazy stuff with snow conditions and so many things and variables out of your control. But as soon as kind of your body chemistry starts to release some stuff, adrenaline, nerves, when you get scared, and it's like how quickly you then turn into this thing that like you would never do this in a million years. Mm-hmm. But now I just made this mistake because I was getting nervous and getting
out of my element.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody, and it can happen anytime. A freak accident, there's a word for it, and that's why they call it freak accident.
The guide life is like what would you say is like some of the most challenging parts of guide life?
I guess just trying to like keep everyone in a good mood, no matter what the hunt's doing. Shitty hunt, good hunt, like just trying to make sure everyone's staying safe and having a good time. And that depends on the guide, right? Like you can't just sit there on your phone when birds aren't coming and not interact with these people. Like you are their person to make sure they're having a good time. And that's either, hey, I'm going to go get burgers for all of us because this hunt sucks and we're getting hungry and cold, so I'm going to go do that. Or it's sitting there and telling every dumb joke you can look up on your phone and come up with any story you can think of to try to keep the conversation going and the peace at ease. And so I think to me, like that is one of the hardest parts about having that pressure of like, well, if the hunt's not good, how am I?
Yeah.
How am I going to keep these people in a good, no matter what, like when the hunt's bad, everyone's got that like, man, this sucks. But if you can be the guy that's going to be able to keep them going, to keep the attitude up and the vibe right, like then I think you're building that experience that a lot of people forget that they need to do.
Is that what you think would like separate like maybe a guide like just getting started versus like that true seasoned guide that just has repeat customers?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part is you can be a killer, man. You can be a baseball coach and be the worst baseball player, but you know how to coach. You know how to like train that person to do the right things, but you may not be able to pick up the bat from the right end and actually hit that ball. But you can tell that person like, hey, this is how you hold that bat and this is how you're going to hit that ball. And I think I kind of look at the same thing for guiding wise. Like I have to sit here and I've got to be able to instruct you, teach you, inform you, and then make sure you have a good time and make you laugh. That's what it comes down to.
Dude, you're selling me on this whole waterfowl and just bird.
Oh yeah. You get to shoot a lot more than just one.
Yeah, no shit, eh? I'm in. I definitely want to try it. The other thing I'm really curious about, so kind of the guide life, which did you ever use that as like kind of the grounds to testing some of the products you were starting to create?
Yeah, I mean, between Alex and I was definitely the one that hunted a lot more. And I was guiding, you know, my dad got me into it at a really young age, as we heard, but I would take our product out all the time. I would give it to the other guides I worked with. I give it to the owner I worked for. And so we were out in the field, however many times a week, running our product and making sure this shit works. Because you could sit inside of this building and, oh my God, it's something, there's geese right there. And you can see that this product works inside, but like you go outside, that changes everything on a note. That changes all the pitches. That, you know, you gotta make sure that call is running the right way. And so to do it out in the field where you're going to be using it, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So I kind of want to run back because I think the origin story, and I don't want to have like everyone's origin story on this podcast, but like this one for the business is kind of it's kind of that awesome story of like you guys were just hustling and doing it, and then it became something.
Yeah. We how it all got started is I played baseball here at Spokane Falls for 1 year. And after the 1 year, I was like, I'm done. Like I'm bullpen catcher. Like I'm 5'9". Like I'm not going to get any taller. I'm not going to get bigger. Like what am I doing? Right? I'm having a good time, but like this isn't worth it. I want to go hunt more. And so the other catcher I was playing baseball with there, he was graduating that year. And so we had another year of hanging out because he just decided to kind of live the college life without playing baseball. And I was living the college life and not giving a damn about what my grades were doing besides hunting. So him and I just hunted every day that you could possibly imagine. And at the end of the season, everyone's like, well, now what? Like, what do we do now? And he called me up in like February or March, and he was like, dude, my dad's making a duck call right now. And I'm like, what? He's actually making a duck call? And he's like, yeah, come over. So I drive over there and I look at it. And so what he was doing on his little wood lathe in this shop that's probably as big as this table, he was just sitting there and pounding out barrels out of whatever material he could get his hands on. And then he started showing us how to use a hand lathe, how to like go back to like wood shop work, in school. And kind of just was revisiting all of that. Like, here's a drill press. This is how we're going to make this bore into this bore. And you're going to have a step bit and all that kind of stuff. So him and I just started making calls for fun. And my dad had such a strong relationship with so many people, through all the years of hunting, that when he was bragging about me making duck calls, these really shitty duck calls back then, out of like poplar wood and the crappiest material you could, find, what we could afford. And people were buying them for like $75 from me. And I was like, I can buy beer with this. Like I can actually afford gas now. This is great. And so we just started doing that. And we just started making barrels and what we call an Echo insert. It's another company that came out with this duck insert where the reeds sit. And then they just mass produce them, and then you can go buy them. You can buy them anywhere. And so we were just making the barrel and shoving this insert into it, which the insert's the hardest part to make because you have to have the right profile, the right bores and everything to create the right sound. And so we did that for about 2 years. And then he called me up one day, and I transferred down to WSU at the time, and he's like, "Hey, I got this guy that used to be my old baseball coach, and he's super interested in what we're doing, and you got to come up and meet him. Like, he's got some good ideas, and he's smart, and he's already graduated from college. Like, he could be a really big asset to our company." And I was like, "Dude, I'm not going to have 3 people running this thing. Like, that's a shit show." So I drive up there, and what was it? I think it was my sophomore year down at WSU, and it was Cinco de Mayo the night before in graduation. So what do? You drink a lot of tequila, and you go out, and it's a hard one the next day.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to get back up to Spokane to meet up with my folks to head over and see our family in Montana. And here's this guy, Alex, my business partner now. He's sitting in this little 10 by 10 shack with Aaron, the guy I was making calls with at first. And he hands me this goose call, and I was so hungover that I blew it. And I was like, "This is terrible." Like, I didn't want to hear a sound out of anybody. I was just like, that was that miserable hungover person. And I always feel bad that was my introduction to my business partner. And we had a good conversation, but so we met that day, and then about a month goes by, and he calls me up. Alex calls me up, and he's like, "I want to be a part of this company." And I'm like, "Man, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of an Aaron and I's deal. It's what we got kind of going on." He's like, "Man, I can buy in." And I was like, "Whoa, you got money. All right, sounds good." Money meaning he's got a couple $100 to buy some acrylic and a lathe. And he's like, "I'll buy all my own stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, you can afford acrylic rod?" Like, "Okay, dude." And that's like $100 back then for one rod. And I'm like, "Man, if you can afford that shit, then you're all in." So anyway, so Alex, he joined the team, and we all signed the dotted line as an official LLC in 2011. And we started making calls. We moved the whole operation to his garage. And at that time, Alex was running a lot of the day-by-day stuff in his garage. I was down at WSU, and I was working in our basement of a hellhole of a home, and trying to make whatever I could during school-wise. And then Aaron was floating kind of back and forth. And then after about a year of it, Aaron loved baseball, and he always wanted to coach. And so he got a really good job opportunity to become a coach. And he just, finally told Alex and I, he's like, "I got to go follow this dream that I've always had, and I want to go do that. So I'm going to, leave my portion up for you guys. Like, I want to be associated, still want to be around, but I want you two to handle it." And since 2012, I think it was, or 13, that's when it was just, or 2012, and then that's when Alex and I just took over. And I graduated 2013 and moved up to Spokane to work for a landscape company here, working 9-hour days in the beating sun and in the snow and whatever we could do until they laid you off. And then that's when I'd go guide. But we would work 9-10-hour days at our normal jobs, and then we'd meet at the shop at 8 o'clock at night and work till midnight and go home. And we did that every single day, just grinding, and there was no paychecks. Like, there was nothing coming out of it going into our pocket besides if someone came in and we got cash for a call, and it's like, "Let's split this."
So, at what point did you realize, like, we have something here?
Probably in like 2000. See, I graduated in 13. His wife kicked us out of the house in 2014 because they had their first child, and she went through, well, Izzy was her name, and Jen, the mom, they had to listen to us bark on duck calls until midnight, 1 o'clock, and we're drinking whiskey and being loud, and the neighbors starting to hate Alex because we're just loud. And so, like, once we got our first shop, it was like, whoa, we can actually afford to have our own facility. And we're making enough calls to afford power, and this is it. Like, do we have something? And we didn't have anything at that point, but it felt like we had everything. And there was just like more. You could always just keep growing, and we finally found that point of like where we can keep growing and how we can keep growing, and started building ourselves in different networks throughout the country, and really started producing a lot more calls than what we were doing before. And I think that's when it kind of hit, is we bought our first machine, and we learned how to plug it in, and we're like, all right, we're call makers now.
So was anyone on the crew like fully trained up in being a machinist?
Zero. Zero, bro.
Self-taught or?
Self-taught. We had a machinist that was next door to us, and we called his name was Jim, but he went by Jimbo. And he was an old timer that was just machining parts for random companies through. So he was like his own little manufacturing company, or he was a machinist. And so he actually, we convinced him to start making our duck calls. And a lot of people don't want to go work with acrylic because it's a lot softer and you can burn it. So if you don't have the right machines that are pushing coolant through and not scorching your plastic, then like you're doing a good job. But a lot of guys just want to turn and burn. Like you can cut wood and metal way faster and not have to worry about like that finished outcome that you would have to worry about acrylic. So we got Jimbo on board. He started making our calls, and after we paid him, for like 2 years to make our product, we're getting to the point where we could actually buy one of these machines. And so in 2015 or 16. Alex, he's like, hey, I found this lathe that we can buy. I'm like, well, how much is it? He's like, it's $45,000. I'm like, what? We don't have $45,000. He's like, I know, but we can get a loan for it. I'm like, we can afford that? And he's like, oh yeah, we can afford that. I go, well, who the hell's gonna run it? He's like, I don't know yet, but we can afford it. So as long as we get it, then Jim can help us kind of set it up. And Alex, my partner, he's just a brainiac, dude. Like, everything sticks in that guy's brain. Like, he can watch a YouTube channel, he can fucking read a book, and he'll remember everything about it. And I'm sitting here like everything comes to my forehead and bounces off. I'm like, well, let me do it 12 more times and then I'll figure it out from here. And we jumped and we landed on a machine, and we were actually sneaking into the Spokane Community College machining classes. We knew a machinist there, and so he's like, as long as administration doesn't find out you guys are coming here, like, I don't care if you come in and you want to just kind of shadow and look over like how I'm doing things. And so I went in there a couple times. Alex would go in there a lot more frequent. He was him and his dad owned a driver's ed company, and so Alex had a lot more time on his hands during the day while I was working during the day, and he would go to these classes, and I would jump in with him once in a while, and we would just sit in the back of the class and just kind of like learn. Here's the green button that turns it on. Here's the red button that turns it off. And so we started doing that, and then with a little bit of help from Jimbo, and watching Alex probably crash a machine, I don't know how many times, and break out how many parts in tools. He's like, hey, you want to learn how to do this? I'm like, bro, we don't have another $10,000 for me to go F it up more. I'm gonna let you keep doing this. Like, you're good with numbers like that, so I'm gonna let you handle that portion of it. I will work on the finishing and the tuning and the shipping. You just work on programming and trying to understand how the hell this thing is going to keep operating, because this is above my pay grade. And so that's kind of like, that was the basics of how we got into machining.
Yeah. When did you guys start? Because, I mean, you were sharing with me kind of before we jumped on is, you guys manufacture for other brands. Mm-hmm. But when did like that first opportunity come about where you're like, oh, we can do more than just our calls? There's a need for all of these other companies.
I'll go back to the driver's ed day. Alex was driving around and he had, 2-3 kids in the car or whatever. And there was this kid sitting in the back, and he was all mapping out and programming something that he had to do for school, because he was going through some, like, not tech school through high school, but machining class. And Alex is like, what are you doing back there? And he's like, well, I got to program this whole thing. He's like, what, program like on a lathe, or like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, like, we're going to go and cut these parts. And he's like, you can do that. And he goes, yeah. And he throws him a duck call, and he goes, can you program this? And like 48 hours go by, and this kid comes back with the program, and he's like, here, try this out. And he's shitting up. Like, he spun out a duck call off this kid's program. And his name is Spencer, and he's still with us. And he was 16 when we picked him up. And that would have been in 2016, I think, is when he jumped on. And so, all the years later, he went through high school and college. But in that whole time, we started learning that there was a niche for this. We thought every call maker had what we had here, a laser engraver and a lathe to finish the whole product. Well, we were so wrong that there was, 1 or 2 other companies in the country that were able to do this. And so we saw like this niche that these machinists that are usually cutting metal and whatnot, they don't want to deal with these duck calls. They don't want to deal with having acrylic blowing up, the finishing not be there, and having the right tools for it. So we started chomping at that bit, and we landed I got a phone call one day from, what was his name? One of my buddies down in Walla Walla, and he's like, "Hey, can I pass your information off to this, this guy that's trying to look for a machinist right now?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And at that time, I'm like thinking I'm big dick because I have my own machine, and we have a laser engraver, and we have all this stuff. And this guy calls me up, and he's like, "Hey, so I hear that you can manufacture for other people." And I go, "Yeah, we can do whatever you want." He's like, "Okay, well, I got like 4 different models that I want to get programmed." He was a elk guy, and so I'm like, "Okay, buddy, whatever, Well, we have minimums." He's like, "I'll meet your minimums." My minimum then was like 20 calls. And I go, "Well, how many parts are you thinking?" He's like, "Well, probably 500 of each." And I was like, "Oh." "Oh, you actually mean it. And so Alex and I sat down. We're like, "Hey, well, what do we need to go buy now to actually like prove to this guy that we can actually do this?" So we had to go buy tumblers and, finishing processing. So it wasn't just all by hand after it came off the machine. And the guy came up, and the guy is just an elk guru genius and has been in the game forever. And so he gave us, 3 or 4 different models to start monkeying with and start programming and building. And I would say that was our kind of like breaking point of like, oh, we can really do this. Let's do it. And so we bought another machine after that, and it was just snowball effect.
What do you think? Well, there's a couple things I want to get into. Like, what with you and your business partner, because you hear time and time again, challenges, there's a lot of butting heads, there's a lot of things, but like, why does it work between you two?
That's what everyone asks. No. I would say Alex and I are like yin and yang, man. Like he is very technologically, what am I trying to say here? Tech smart. There we go. I'll just go with that. Able to run the machines, love to like grindstone, work. And I was kind of like the one that tried the product out. I'm the one that got it in front of people. I had relationships in the industry, and we kind of just started, we didn't split our ways, but we just started understanding whose path is whose. And yes, we still go back and forth on like whose artwork looks better or whose idea is shitty or not. But we've always just kind of agreed to disagree, and one is going to have to eat some, the other one is going to eat some later and figure out like, hey, maybe they have a good idea, or let's just run it and see what happens. And I feel like him and I were very forgiving with each other, and able to and just kind of like handle that and knowing who's who. I know Alex knows how to run a machine better than a lot of people in the industry game. Alex knows that I've got relationships. I guess you call me the people person. I'm the one that I guide. I'm out there in the field. I'm selling the product. I'm meeting with stores. And so we just kind of split our ways and like just knew, hey, this is how we're going to grow as a company. And this is how we're going to have to live. And if neither one of us was going to be able to like understand that, then it would never have worked out.
Sure. The other is, I think the way you explain it makes it sound simple, and not simple in the sense of like how much work and everything went into it, but like, okay, we get enough money, we acquire these machines, and now we start running these machines. Mm-hmm. But it's very evident that so many people can't do this, and there's only a few people, even probably U.S. or probably in the world, that are like really equipped to handle this type of thing. Mm-hmm. So like, what is that other piece that like makes, outside, I guess maybe like the acrylic and working with that type of material, but is there other things that make this kind of game tough to break into?
A good crew, honestly. Like we picked up, like if you don't have the right crew behind you that is going to grind it with you, then I feel like that's a big stopping point. Like it's like any other job. If you don't have the employees that are willing to look at the business as their own, then they're never going to have the appreciation of like how you hold your own appreciation for your product or your job. So I think the biggest thing that helped Alex and I really grow was having the right people with us to help us grow. And that could be staff that are around the country that, just represent our product. That could be people here that actually have been employed by Pacific Halls. We've had a couple of my really, really close friends work for us in the beginning stage, and they didn't get paid worth shit. They worked way late without getting paid. They saw they saw the dream that Alex and I had, and they also wanted to be a part of something like that. And so having that backing from a good group of people and our family, for God's sakes, our wives, and always having our back, like that's what made this machine run, right? Like you can go buy all this overpriced machinery and be as fast as you want, but if you don't have the right people that can grind it with you, then like I think you're stuck.
Yeah. I feel like that's often the case. I mean, in so many industries and so many things, it's like when you lack the genuine love for what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can throw money at this problem continuously and it will never solve itself until the people are there that want to solve it.
Yeah, they want to grind. They want to be part of what we're doing. They want to say that we make 3/4 of the calls in the industry. Like they want to, be able to hold their heads up high too, and they should, because we have an awesome crew and they work their ass off. And without them, Alex and I we would have sunk this thing. Like there's only so much him and I could go do. So many late nights, so many nights pissing off the wives and the family from not coming home. That like knowing that tomorrow I can show up and things are still going to be running smoothly unless we crash a machine or someone cuts a hand off. Knock on wood, don't do that shit. But like we've had a solid crew, and I think that's like where a lot of it comes from.
That's incredible. One of the other ones I want to bounce back to is Spencer. So, I mean, from the driver's ed car in the back to then clearly like so many years would have transpired from high school to college. Mm-hmm. Were you guys in contact that whole time?
I worked here every day.
Every day?
Every day. Yeah, man. I mean, every day. We've had him since he was 16 and he hasn't left yet. And we haven't drove him completely nuts. He's got his own office, finally. And so he doesn't have to listen to me blow duck calls. He can venture away and get into his office and just focus on his work. But, yeah, I mean, he was always here. And I'm sure he hated, some of it for sure. It's like, no, you're not leaving yet, man. We got 3 more hours left of this day, not of our work day, but it's going to be midnight here soon, but we're going to keep grinding on it. And
was he a passionate hunter?
Not at all.
Not at all. Just
I've never even gotten him out yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So he just loved
he just loved manufacturing. Like that's what he went to school for. That's what he went to college for. And he loved programming and just like that's where he wants to go, and that's what he wants to do. And we've always just been able to like keep him here and be like, hey, duck calls are cool. Like I know it's not gun parts that you want to go make, or it's not these aerospace parts that you went to school for. It's duck whistles, but we're we make other things here a little bit out of the calling industry that I think kind of keeps his brain really moving. But
sure.
But no, he's been one of the dudes since we can say like this company has been a thing.
I just can like imagine because again, like he's in the back typing up on his computer trying to get something dialed.
Yep.
And a dude just like not like it's like a job offer throwing it back, but like for him to like turn around and apply it. Because think of how many kids would have just like, sure, maybe, and given it back and never thought about it again. Mm-hmm. And like that's just like I guess like maybe goes to show how much he loved that game.
Yeah. Well, we've always been good too about like, hey, you guys need to take a week off. Like Alex and I are very lenient on day to day, right? Like we've always cared. They've always been kids to us. But we've always just wanted them, to have the best time that they can. Like there's a lot of shitty days here. There's also a lot of good days. And so we're always just trying to make sure that everyone is, being treated well. And I think that's why we've been able to hold. I mean, we got Ryland, Matt, Spencer, and Wyatt, and the first 3 have been with us for over 6+ years now. And Wyatt's been on for a couple years now, and he's the youngest one. But the guys that have stayed with us, they've been here for some time. Yeah,
I mean that's like I think that goes to show, like as a business owner, like you're doing stuff right.
Yeah, we try to think like that.
It has to. I mean, because in today's culture, it's like the chronic job jumper.
Yeah,
is so. I mean, you walk down this business park, and there's how many businesses you could go.
He could go over there to the aerospace. He could go next to us to a gun manufacturing. I mean, just Spencer, let alone, could go get a job anywhere as a programmer and a machinist. The same thing with all these other kids that have worked for us. Like they all work hard. They all been around heavy machine or heavy tooling, woodworking. metal working. I mean, they've done a lot of different things, and so the hats that they wear are pretty big, and they could go to get a job damn near anywhere.
Yeah, I want to say too. I mean, like the call out of, at least when I look back at like my leaders that I've had working for companies, it's the ones that are like just in it. Mm-hmm. And like you almost have to like strive to even be on their level. It's like how hard they're working and just grinding and grinding and grinding. To me, those are the ones that like really motivate. It's like the ones when they ask, hey, can you guys stay late tonight? We got to do this. And it's like, I know that fucker's been staying late forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's like this minor little thing I now have to do. And I think it's like the lead by example. It's like, it's cliche, but it's so fucking true.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if you don't show the passion in your own work, like they're not gonna keep that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna look like you, and they're gonna just be like, yeah, it's 2:59. Okay, I'm out. And so if you can show them that, like Alex and I have spent a lot of nights here working very, very late without anybody, just him and I, or him, or just me, and I think they see that, and I think they, appreciate how much work that we put into it, and where we've always tried to go with it.
Yeah, man. The funny thing is, I know you're talking about grinding, and I know that's kind of like a good lead into like your family. So like obviously we met through your wife and my wife, mm-hmm. But one of the things that I've always saw about you guys is like, there's not a break in what you guys do. Like you're working here and then you're going and also selling houses.
Right.
She's doing that. You guys have a child, another one on the way. Like everything I've ever seen from you guys, it's like just a non-stop.
Like full go mode.
All the time.
All the time.
Is that from like your upbringing?
I think so. My parents were, they were entrepreneurs as well. I mean, they owned their own landscape irrigation company, and I watched my dad grind it, and then I watched my dad take me hunting all the time. And so there's the times where we had to grind it, and there's the times for fun. And so you just, they're going to come at some point, but like you have to get through your fucking work.
Yeah.
And then that time will show up. I didn't grow up in a 9-to-5 business style of a family. There was no schedule like that. And my wife was the same way. Like her mom, she was a flight attendant, but she also owned a couple other businesses as well. And so her and I have always just had that like go mentality.
Sure.
And then when it's time to take a break, like we're taking a fucking break. And like we go to Mexico. People are like, you just go to Mexico a couple times a year? Like how? It's like, well, we go to 2 days and we just go to chill and like phones off. We don't do anything. I don't want to think about anything. I don't even want to think about what drink I have to order next. I just want it to keep coming. And like, that's it. And so like, we really try to take that approach in life where it's like grind hard. And then once that time comes and like, then that's our break.
Yeah.
That's where we recollect. But we also love helping people. And that's where the real estate comes in. It's like, I love problem solving and I love helping people. And like my wife's the same way. And she enjoys that. And so I think that's what fills up our cup regardless.
Yeah. That's, so my dad was the 9-to-5, but in a very similar standpoint. Like it was in the morning, I'd wake up at, 5 a.m. before he's out the door. He's in the garage working on dirt bikes so I can go ride when I get home from school.
Yeah.
And, then he's going to work at I'm sure a pretty high stressful kind of deal. And then comes home and it's like, as soon as he gets home, bikes in the truck, we're off, we're riding. And it's like just seeing the constant, that's not necessarily a grind in that same manner, but in just the way where it's like you just want to get home sometimes and rest. But like for him, it was never like that was just never an option.
No,
which I loved because then now as an adult, like that's the same way where it's like, who said I can't mountain bike in the morning, go to work, dirt bike when I get home, and then edit a podcast after that?
Exactly. And I think if you just find the love in what you're trying to find, like then that's where it all like clicks in. Like your father loved taking you dirt biking, or he loved fixing your shit because he wanted to see you happy. And like that's what I got from my dad. Like my dad didn't have that from his father, and so my dad really approached my life with that attitude of like. And then don't get me wrong, there was days that were super shitty, and I listened to mom and dad fight about work and all the shit. Mom yelling at me, "Don't you ever get into irrigation? This is bull." Like I remember those days, but. Man, I remember the family trips. I remember all the baseball games. I remember all the Mariner games, like everything that my dad did. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. It's 2:00 on a Friday. Like we're leaving to go to Mariners game. and he'll just pick me up from school randomly.
Yeah.
And so like there's those things that will stick to you as a child and as an adult as well, like that I want to do now for my son and my daughter when she's born, and like just have that kind of lifestyle where it's like, yeah, we can take our breaks and chill out once in a while, but like let's keep doing cool shit.
Yeah, dude, it's funny you mentioned that because my dad would, like, his style of that was he'd pull us out of school to go snowboarding.
Yeah.
And every time he'd come and pull us out, he would use like the same excuse where it's like, Aunt so-and-so's in the hospital and we need to go. And it's like, that lady doesn't exist. Right. But as soon as we know it, they would like, dude, the teachers were like, I'm so sorry. Your aunt this is in the hospital and your dad's coming to get you. Fuck yeah.
It's so funny on how, like, as a child, you look at that and you're like, oh my God, my dad got me out of here. And then you start thinking about as an adult, you're like, God damn, Dad. Kids just said there was a doctor's appointment or something. But one of my best friends just got married this last weekend, and we grew up together from when we were 13. And a lot of the folks came over from the west side that we grew up with, and they were all like, do you remember like ever coming to school on Friday? And I was like, no. They're like, you would always be gone on every Friday. And I was like, yeah, my dad needed to scout Friday so we could hunt Saturday, Sunday, and then come back home Sunday. And they're like, you didn't ever come to school. I was like, wow, yeah, you're right. I guess I really didn't. And it's a funny when you get that. Like, it's a funny thing when you get that reminder. But then that's just like what made me, man.
But you were learning. Like, I think that's the other cool part is you weren't like, I mean, I've seen it so many times where it's like either parents are kind of absent and not doing stuff, but like it's kind of the like, hey, they pulled you out to learn something. Yeah. Like you were there learning from him, and this is honestly, I mean, became a career in more ways than one. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff where it's like, I think sometimes teachers don't see it fully. No, they're just looking more at like, did you complete your coursework?
Yeah, exactly. Did you finish your homework? What the fuck am I going to do with that homework?
No, fractions. I didn't do the fucking fractions.
But it's like, that's their job, so they got to make sure that they keep it.
Yeah. It's a good one. I think just dads listening, if you could pull your kids out and go do fun stuff, you should do it.
For sure. Because that kid is going to remember it forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Because if I wasn't getting pulled out for hunting, I was getting pulled out to go to Mariner games. And we would go catch like 2 innings, but we always went to batting practice. And we would watch 2 or 3 innings, and then we would bounce out. But we always, like, Dad would be catching baseballs out in the center field from the home runs, and I would just be getting autographs. And I will never forget that.
That's incredible, man. We did something very similar with, like, going to Supercross.
Yeah.
And it was, like, through my dad's racing background, he kind of had a link with that. So he was down on the floor, like, flagging with the crew or something. Mm-hmm. And, like, we get these little backstage or, pit passes and we're just harassing racers.
Yeah.
Like, fucking let's autograph that. But it's like, that's the kind of stuff where, like, you think back and it's just like, man, how fucking cool was it?
Oh, how fortunate were you to be able to go do that, right? Like, dude, you wish every kid had that opportunity, but it just comes from the parent.
Yeah.
Or whoever's, taking care of them.
Do you, Brian Deegan? Does that name ring any bells? Like Metal Militia, old-time freestyle motocross guy?
Yep.
So he was recently on a podcast, and I thought it was like the best answer. Because right now, his kid is he's like one of the top 250 guys. So like a 250, and then there's a 450 class, which is like the premier class.
Yeah.
And anyways, was raised with all the money, all the tracks, all the bikes, all the shit. And everyone kind of says, like, he's just got like a silver spoon, kind of discounting all of the work the kids put in. Yeah, and you watch it, and it's like the kid works probably harder than anyone else.
For sure.
Of course. But Brian Deegan on the thing, because one of the guys mentioned, like, hey, what do you have to say to the people that think you just gave your son everything? It's like, or maybe other kids' dads are just pussies and didn't give their sons what they could have, And
Exactly.
I'm like, fuck me, that's so true.
Well, it is, I mean, the dad's got to step out of his normal routine, and he's got to be uncomfortable to make that kid comfortable, or to make that kid, want to have that drive. Yeah. If you don't show them like what a drive is, or how to grind it, or how to like chase your dreams, they're not going to figure that out that easily. I mean, maybe they'll see a teacher that really explains it to them, or a friend's dad or whatever. But like, I think it comes from the parents. Maybe a mom or dad, but like, I think it definitely starts with us as parents.
Yeah.
And you got to show them like And it may not be the same shit that you want to be involved in, but like whatever you find out, Archie wants to become some dancer. Like, bro, do it, man. Whatever makes you happy. You know, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go a little sad. You don't want to go shoot geese with me, but it is what it is. Like, you want to chase this? Let's go chase it.
Yeah, me and Jess have talked pretty extensively about like, you know, how that goes, and I'm like, I just got to see passion.
Yeah.
If they have a passion towards something, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I can relate to that. Doesn't matter what it is, but I can relate to like the drive and the want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, dude, fingers crossed that is what happens.
You just hope you find that. Exactly. Archie right now, he's 3, just turned 3, and everything is monster trucks, bro. Everything is monster trucks.
I saw a couple of them fall out of the truck.
Dude, yeah, exactly. He's got every monster truck from Hot Wheels you can think of. We go to the state line right here and watch the monster trucks. We go to Hot Wheels monster trucks, but it's like, that's what he's into. So fuck it. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
I could really care less about listening to the goddamn trucks and be in that loud ass arena over and over and over. My ears are already bleeding from all the shotguns in my life, and this is what I got. But you know what? I've never seen that kid jump so high in my life. Like, this is rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the counter, when he all of a sudden starts to really love dirt bikes,
Mm-hmm.
then that's when you call me.
I'm like, yo, Ty, you got this. I'm going to drop him off in 4 hours.
Dude, I fucking love that. Yeah, so Alex, with your boy, I mean, like, what's your, like, has it changed the way you've looked at hunting at all, or?
I think, like, there was a couple things that happened in my life recently is, my child was born in July of 2022. I lost my father in May of 2022. And so losing my dude is what I called my dad. And, you know, I could call this guy, he was my dad. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we had that relationship, a, like, real tight relationship. And then losing him and then becoming a father, I gained a lot more of like, hey, you know what? What actually matters is my time with my friends, my wife, my family, and now my kid. And so building that love to just like be with him, because watching what my dad did with me forever, I'm able to appreciate what my father did, and I want to give everything back to what, you know, he did for me. I want to do for him. And like I said, it could be to anything. But I think that's the biggest thing is like, I just want to be there for Arch.
Yeah.
And I want to get him into what I'm into, but like we talked earlier, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's whatever he's into.
It's so cool how much they pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, a lot like you at 12.
Yeah.
Watching your dad, and it's like, the funny thing is, and it's same with me, dude, watching my dad, you know, he was always sitting me down watching motocross movies, and, you know, pretty much it's like the blueprint of everything he like exposed me to is like, of course, everything that I'm into nowadays.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always that way. Like, it was like, I got into skateboarding, and then in a roundabout way, my little brother got a dirt bike, and then I kind of just like, all of a sudden, I'm like kicking him off of it.
Right. I want to be on that.
It's always so funny, but like the cool thing is he never pushed any of that shit on us.
Right.
He experienced, and like it showed us it, but it was never like, hey, you're gonna dirt bike and you're gonna like it,
right?
The kind of thing. And you know, there's times where I'm like, damn, like why didn't you push me into hockey sooner, Dad?
Yeah.
But he's kind of like, hey, you weren't into it, so I didn't fucking do it. And,
well, I think that's where you start losing that love for it. I mean, my dad looked at me one day when I was not enjoying baseball, and he's like, "You don't have to do this." And I was like, "Whoa, you know, that's not a normal thing. Like, this is what we do." And he's like, "You don't have to do this." And I kind of like resituated myself, and I was like, no, I actually like this. I'm gonna pull my head out of my ass. But it was like that. Like, he didn't push me to go try out for 20 different teams and to go batting or hitting every single night or practice every single night. Like, that was just what I wanted to go do.
Yeah.
Sure, there was times I hated it because it was a shitty day or whatnot, but he never just push. He just pushed me in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah.
Softly.
Gentle nudge.
Yep, exactly. And he was supportive about it.
Yeah. That was actually, I mean, dude, like for verbatim, that was my dad. I remember there was like a kind of a week in the summer. My dad would never take us racing unless we asked, which is like, that was his life. So to him to just like sit back and kind of let us steer the ship was, I'm like, I don't know. I pray that I have the same amount of, I guess, strength to be able to do something like that. But
I think you will, because it will come to it because you watch how much fun you had.
Yeah, and I saw the example, which is cool. And I think for him, though, it was kind of the same thing. It's like, I just remember, like, we didn't ask to go race for a couple weekends, and he is like, you know, hey, are you still loving this? Like, you haven't asked to go, but I just want to like check in. Like, Is this still like something you want to do?
Yep.
And it was just like, oh yeah, like I was waiting for you to like I thought we were just going, kind of thing. But it was just always that like there, just kind of like acknowledging, like, hey, are you still into this? Are you good?
Yeah.
No struggle if you aren't, but
talking, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
Dude,
communicating.
Those are those like little life lessons that like looking back, you're like, wow, that had like such a lasting impact.
Oh, huge impact. Yeah.
When at the moment you didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And somehow it stuck.
You just thought it was a day-to-day operation.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
off the family side of things, like back to the industry. And I always, when I'm talking to somebody like yourself who, I mean, very respected in this industry, but like current state, how are things, what is needed? Like what is kind of like the future of the hunting world and kind of what are you thinking or hoping to see?
I think we're always in an uphill battle, right? Like we're always against the other side of the politics. We're always against PETA. We're always against, that. And so over years, you kind of watch like ebb and flow. You watch hunters come together, and then kind of disorganize. And I hate this crew because they blow this call or they only shoot this shotgun or rifle, so I don't like them. And I think COVID, in a weird way, brought a lot of us fuckers back together and realized like, hey, there's a lot more to this than just like what product you rock. And when I got into call making and kind of figuring out the industry a little bit, it was very much, at least here in the Northwest, it was very much like this crew's over here on this side, this crew's over here on this side, and they do not talk to each other. They don't even associate with each other. They don't even smile at each other. Most of them, it's a middle finger back and forth. And I think COVID changed that way for a lot of folks because they saw that like our shit's getting taken away. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we can't go outside. We can't do anything. So like more hunters got involved, more people got involved. We band together, protests or whatever, the Spokane, we all went up on division and protested, and they said we can't go outside and fish. And so, like, I think it brought a lot of the community back together. And so what I've been seeing in the hunting world is seeing the growth from one company to the next company. And there's still a little bit like, oh, they took my product and they remade it, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's still, like, that bandwidth is growing of more folks coming together. And I think that's what's always going to be the driver for us as hunters and conservationists and trying to manage and help manage wildlife and be a part of it. And so I think like if we just keep on that mindset, then like no one can stop us. But if we can't stay on that mindset, then like we're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens quick. And fortunately, I mean, me just being a consumer of the industry, like not having the ties, not having the business, just literally loving hunting and everything it's about. I think like even things like the public land kind of debates that have been happening recently with some of the politicians kind of slipperily trying to give away our shit. And like and seeing that and like, I mean, the cool thing is like even hikers and people that like arguably never would love a hunter.
Right.
All of a sudden we're all like rooting and challenging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always so interesting to see kind of like, all right, what's the breaking point? Like what's something people really care about?
Yeah. And you take that away from us and we all come together to fight back to get it because this is what we live for. If you're a mushroom picker, if you're a bird watcher, if you're a hunter, if whatever you are, a trailblazer, whatever the hell you want to go do, like you start taking that shit away from us, like we will all come together. We should, better, or they're going to do that.
Yeah,
and it's only up to us.
Really, it is. Have you seen the stuff going on in Saskatchewan?
No, when?
So like they want to, what is it? They want to like basically flatten the curve, is the way the politician said it, which is meaning you guys can't go outside anymore because there's a potential if you're in the woods you could start a forest fire.
No way.
So like dudes are getting fined $28,000 walking around in the woods.
I have not heard this.
Yes. And it's dude, and they're like it's almost the same kind of thing, like with the public land stuff here where it's like everyone's coming together and it's like for some reason, which I don't know why it's blowing up my feed, it's like now just one after another, people talking about how much bullshit it is of like, hey, me and my kid that's out hiking on a trail,
Yeah.
like, we're not starting a fire.
With my rubber shoes going to start a spark here? That's ridiculous.
I mean, things are different up there, so maybe.
For sure. Yeah, rocks are made different. No, it definitely could be. But no, like, they're just trying to take control of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's very tough because you just want to do what you appreciate. As long as you're not dumb about it, right? Don't fucking throw your joint or your cigarette down in the dry woods. Don't drive your cars through the dry fields and whatnot and leave them just running.
Yeah,
like, just be smart about it. But you still gotta, we have this land and we gotta go appreciate it and help it grow and take care of it as well. And you can't lose that.
It's such a unique thing to the Mountain West. Where, like, growing up in the Midwest, like, there's public land there, but it's like these pockets of, like, 10 acres. 5 acres. You know, and it's like you go there on opener of deer season, dude, and you're like,
30.
Well, you're there in the dark, waiting, sitting on your little bucket that you packed in. It turns light, and you realize there's a guy 30 yards to the right of you and 30 yards to the left of you.
It's crazy.
And nobody knew either one was there.
It's absolutely crazy.
And dude, it just that how many times you risk the thought of like just dudes seeing something move and shooting.
Yeah.
And the public land struggle in the Midwest is always so funny to me. But coming out here and seeing like what it has to offer. And honestly, how many people like end up able to make careers around them guiding. Like there's so much cool shit. It blows my mind that somebody would want to give it away.
For sure, and I think we have something up here that's one of a kind when it comes to the public land, and Northwest Wyoming, a little bit further down, that has the same amount as we all do up here, and it's something like you said, you're not used to that. You come up here, like you can damn near get to one of these hills up here and walk all the way to Canada on public land. You can't do that shit anywhere. Like, I mean, there's a property that I help manage way up north in northern Idaho, and I can literally take a step out off of this guy's property, and I can walk all the way up to the Canada border, and it would take me 5 days to get there if I had it. But it's all public land. People come up here, and so what we're seeing now, I'm guilty of it because I never really did it much, like public land hunting wise. It was always club, private land, whatever it is, until I started really turkey hunting. And you can go to any hill around here and go chase a turkey, and a lot of it is public land. And so understanding how much of it we have around here is unreal. And so what we've recently, in the last 6 years, we got into the turkey industry and producing turkey calls, our own turkey calls, like at a really heavy rate. And noticing more people coming to the Northwest because they can get away from what you just said. 30 people in a 10-acre parcel chasing a bird and getting shot at is not that much fun. But you come up here and you can get lost for your entire life.
Yeah.
And you'll never find yourself again.
I literally have buddies. So one of my buddies from back in Wisconsin, he does, I want to say supply and demand for Vortex. Mm-hmm. And him and a crew from there came out here to North Idaho to go turkey hunting. And I'm like, really? You came all the way out here for that?
Bro, it's insane.
And it made me kind of rethink it because I was like, wait a sec. What do I have at my disposal right here, right now? And I think that's even why I was like, man, I just want to learn more about this style of hunting because it takes place in a time where I can go bear hunt and also turkey hunt and there's a lot of things you can do in the off-season.
Things you can do, and the more you travel and hunt in different places, you start to appreciate more where you're from and what you have. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been able to pick up with traveling throughout the years and meeting more people in the hunting industry, from turkey to waterfowl, and knowing you can come up here and it's a game changer compared to going down in the South. Texas is 99% privately owned. There's one public spot in some of these areas that these guys can go hunting. Other than that, you're paying big dollar. You can come up here and you can hit the Columbia River, the Snake River, Ponderay, all these just big waterways that no one really else has down, in some of those states down there. And so, I guess where I was going is we got into the turkey market, and now we host a 1-day turkey hunting competition called the Turkey Rodeo. Little plug.
Plug away, dude.
But
plug
we
away.
have This last year was our second year doing it. In the first year, we had 6 different, I'll call them state representatives. They weren't like actual state representatives. They just came from different states. And then most of them from Washington and Idaho. But this last year we hosted again, and we had over 12 states come over here, 12 different states for where the people are from, and they came up here to come turkey hunt. One, because they love turkey hunting. 2, we have so much more ground to go do it on than what they can do in Arkansas, Tennessee, wherever it may be. And it's I call it the Wild West out here. Like, you can get lost in these mountains compared to those hills that, like, it's going to roll over and go someone's backyard. And people are finally understanding, like, what the Northwest really has to offer.
And it's like pretty, I mean, cost-wise, like it's still reasonable to be an out-of-stater and hunt turkeys.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think it's only $100 and some bucks, $120 for you to get your small game and a couple tags. We have pretty liberal limits too. I mean, you can shoot 2 in the state of Washington and 1 more in Spokane County, so 3. And then you can go across the state line. Luckily, we're so close to Idaho, and go shoot 2 more. And if you want to go cruise another hour east, you can go to Montana and shoot 2 more. So, like, as far as turkey goes, like, you can go kill some shit in a week.
Yeah.
And other areas like draws, you have to get permits or whatever it may be, and it's very hard to go get a tag.
Yeah. It's also, run me through the rodeo. So, like, everyone comes in, and then is it just kind of like a free-for-all where people go out and try to...
You can shoot a turkey in any state. The deal is, it's a one-day hunting. It's like a fishing tournament. You go out in the morning, you shoot your bird throughout the day, whatever it is, but you have to be back here at our shop by, 6 p.m. is the final cutoff, or 5 p.m., whatever we did. And so what we do is you sign up like a month before. We order T-shirts. We get the whole thing set up. We have food. We have games for kids. We've got other companies throughout the industry. They come up and they kind of set up a booth, or they're just here to meet people. So we try to bring as many people as we can together, because one thing I noticed is here in the Northwest, you kind of like some people hunt by themselves and then, like, they go home, right? You get groups together, they hunt, but then they just kind of go home. No one really like hunts. Then Sunday they have the barbecue and they're cooking what they shot and they're hanging out. And so I wanted to bring that relationship up here and like just that fun vibe that I feel like folks in the South really treasure. And we just don't have that. I haven't really experienced that. So that's all in my own head. That I'm sure there's some people that, kind of do that role, but we, as the Northwest people, we just don't do that often.
Yeah.
And so hosting the turkey tournament was a way for, like, you and I to stand next to each other, even though you hunt that parcel right next to me and you're calling the turkeys off of my parcel. But you and I can still flip shit to each other as we're eating crawfish and barbecue, because we have to. We have to stand next to each other. We have to be associated with each other because we still love what we're going to go do that day. So that was like the whole mindset of why we started the turkey rodeo. But as far as the turkey rodeo goes, you sign up, you can shoot a bird any state, doesn't matter where, but you have to shoot it the day of the tournament, and you have to check in by 6 p.m. And then we go through the whole weighing, measuring operation, and it's all NWTF rules, National Wildlife Turkey Federation. And so you measure the spurs, the beard, the lengths of them, and then the weight. And then it calculates together, and that's your point system. And so this last year we had the biggest bearded hen, because you can shoot a hen that has a beard in the springtime, and then the biggest turkey that's got the highest scores, and then we call it DFL, dead fucking last. So you're the smallest bird, like, sucks, but you're going to win. And so that's how the whole operation works. You show up, you check in, you get your bird. We had our buddy owns a heavy equipment rescue company, so he's got a crane on his truck. So we hang these 20-pound birds off this crane that can lift 10,000 pounds, and you take your photo next to it. And this year for the winners, the first place was $2,500 cash. These badass belt buckles that we get made over in Montana, Molly's, they make phenomenal belt buckles. And then First Light donated a full turkey setup for first, and then first through third, full turkey setup from pants to underwear to your turkey vest. Boss Ammo comes out and they donate ammo to it. Everyone usually walks away with some shotgun shells. It could be waterfowl or it could be the turkey, whatever they have that they are able to bring out. And And we had a couple other companies come out too, but I'm always trying to make the prizes like the coolest prize. Turtle Box, they donated a box for first, second, and third. And so like we've always just tried to build it where we have a lot of friends in the industry and they love to see like what we're trying to do. And that's just bringing hunters together. And that's all I cared about was bringing turkey hunters together for one day out of the whole season, that you would never go meet someone else because you don't want to go meet them because they hunt the same property you do or whatever it is. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say all of this because that is like the best part about deer hunting in the Midwest is deer camp, as we call it, which is always because you're not hiking miles in the woods. It's like usually you have a network of stands around a shack or some kind of, usually it's like a little hunting shack or a little cabin. And when everyone's done hunting, everyone comes back, all the neighbors come over. It's like almost exactly what you're explaining. And it is some of the most fun because everyone's just talking about what they had happen
what they fucked up on, what they did good on,
the stump they shot.
Yeah.
And then like, there's a few that end up getting something. Usually it's like some little doe and it's like not that big deal, but it's just like everyone's there for the good times and everyone leaves. Even if you didn't get something, it's still a blast.
Yes.
Which is so cool that you're doing that now with turkey stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check that out this year.
No, it's going to be a good time. It'll be, it's always in April 25th is what it'll be this next year. And the prizes are just going to get bigger. We had the first year we had 112 hunting contestants sign up. I wanted to get to 40. And I was like, if I just get like 40 people to sign up for this, like this is going to be rad. And we hit 40 and like the first day of signups hit. And I was like, oh shit. And then got to 80. And I was like, we're going to have to like get a porta potty here or something. And until Alex and I were like, how are we going to do this? Like we've never had a facility that can host something like that. And that was one of the biggest drives about building this place is like, let's host something. Let's host get-togethers. Let's host hunting parties. Let's host call nights. Let's host things and get people together and just share the wealth. And so, I mean, having that for the turkey was huge for us.
Dude, I love it. I can think of at least 15 people back in Wisconsin that I know would love to come out.
I had a buddy. It was the first year, and he lives in like St. Louis area. I mean, he's in Missouri, but right out of St. Louis. And he's like, I got this bird roosted, and I'm going to shoot him at 5:05, and I'm going to catch his flight at 7:10, and I'm going to be in Spokane by like 1 p.m. And I was like, you're fucking crazy. I'm all texting him at 7 o'clock my time, so it's 9. I'm like, I haven't heard from you. He's like, turkey went left, I went right. I was like, damn it. He's like, I missed my flight. But
Dude,
it was fun.
The thought of checking that turkey on the flight, dude, going through the like just
here's your bullshit cooler, and it's got this big old bird in it, and you're like, don't mess with this bird. It's got to hold its weight. It's got to stay cold. I don't want to ruin it. And he was going to bring a big old Eastern out here and probably win. But unfortunately, he didn't do it. But this last year, we had 184 hunting contestants sign up for it. And I think there was you can only turn in one bird per team. It's either, solo team or teams of 2.
Sure.
And you can only turn in one bird into a category. You got to pick what category you want to be a part of. And so I think that's kind of like driven a little bit of getting more people involved, because it's not about shooting the biggest bird. It can be about shooting a multi-bearded bird or a bearded hen. This year's prize for the bearded hen, biggest bearded hen, was Northwest Safe. They're a local company out of like South Seattle area, but they have an operation here too, and they donated a gun safe for the biggest bearded hen.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the prizes are always kind of the cherry on top, because everyone gets to leave with something. But it's just and I wish there was a lot more things like that.
Yeah.
Around, because what I always end up running into is like there's so many people. I mean, hunting is kind of like just a way of life over here. But there's so many people where it's like I end up meeting them at a gym, or I end up meeting them through something else that I'm doing, and it's never doing the thing that like we end up connecting on.
Right, exactly, because you're doing it by yourself, or you don't want that one dickhead to find out where you're hunting or whatever it is. And so it's like I said, I go back to it. I just always wanted to have a big group of people here that cared about the same shit we care about.
That's fucking incredible, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably the best spot to end it. You definitely, listeners, should check this out. I'm going to be there.
Perfect.
Next year.
It's a good time.
Any closing words, man?
Man, just appreciate what you're doing and, spreading the good word about everybody. And thanks for having me on.
No problem, buddy.
All right, dude.
Cheers.
Appreciate you.